We have Senator Kennedy and then Senator Hirono.
Mr. Berchtold, am I saying that right?
Yes, Senator, thank you.
Mr. Berchtold, I'm not against big per se. I am against dumb. And the way your company handled the ticket sales for Ms. Swift was a debacle. And whoever in your company was in charge of that ought to be fired. Number two, I hear two things today. I hear some of you saying that that we have an antitrust situation here, and that is wrong from an academic perspective and a consumer protection perspective. I hear others of you saying Live Nation's making too much money and we want some of it. Okay? But I hear all of you saying you care about the consumer, and I take you at your word. So how would you feel about adopting a rule, which it seems to me would satisfy the bot situation? Let's just adopt a rule. Well, strike that. I don't want to make it a suggestion because I want to think it through more. But let me ask you your opinion. You're the experts. What if we adopt a rule that said tickets to a Taylor Swift concert or Mr. Lawrence's band's concert are non-transferable? Now, you're not going to have a problem with bots, okay? If you got a scalper trying to buy 2,000 tickets, they don't want 2,000 tickets. They want a profit. And it'll hold down ticket prices. Why don't we do that? Don't everybody jump in at once.
I mean, I think whether it was that or only transferable at face value, I'm not an expert on the secondary ticketing market, so all I can tell you is that from the artist perspective, we would not make $1 less if that were implemented.
Mr. Lawrence, if you care about the consumer, and I hear you say that you do, I'll tell you what the consumer is concerned about. The consumer is not concerned about how many lawyers can dance on the head of a pin and whether this is an antitrust violation or not, or the FTC. The consumer is concerned about the price.
Yeah, so I'm saying I think.
So would you support non-transferability, or you can only transfer it at face value?
I mean, I think that's a really interesting question. I'm not an expert
you, Ms.
on
Bradish?
Well, I think non-transferability is making a judgment in lieu of what a customer would make.
I understand what it means. Would you support that?
No.
Okay, how about you, Mr. Nuzzo?
I would respectfully not support such a rule.
Okay. How about you, Mr. Mickelson?
Michelson, but that's good. Yes, Senator, good question. Totally support non-transferability.
Okay, thank you.
Totally.
Next, sir.
We respectfully think transferability is important for consumers.
You think it's important? Is it important for consumers or for the middlemen?
Like, let's say I'm going to a show with Jerry and I buy the tickets. I want to be able to send that ticket to Jerry so that we can go together.
That's the exception rather than the rule.
Yeah, it's certainly, I think there's interesting ways we could use.
A few people may have to eat the ticket. They get sick, they can't go. But most people will think about that before they buy the ticket. Now, if you want to hold down prices, cut out the middlemen and the middlewomen. You want to cut out bots, make it non-transferable or transferable only at price, at face value. Couldn't a major artist, couldn't a Bruce Springsteen say, whose music I love, couldn't he say, look, I've got market power. I'm going to set this price for the ticket. I'm going to set this price for the service fee, and it's going to be non-transferable. Couldn't an artist do that with market power?
For sure. Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea. And
Problem solved.
Some artists have done that.
Problem solved.
for sure.
How about that, Mr. Burkholdt?
Yes, Senator, we would fully support an artist's right to make their shows
Didn't ask that.
non-transferable.
Do you support non-transferability or not?
We would support non-transferability, yes.
Well, then why isn't a big part of the problem just solved? Okay? If you care about the consumer, you're going to hold the price down. You're going to cut out the middleman. Now, we still have the problem of some of your colleagues say you're making too much money. Some of them say, I hear them say, you're making too much money and we want some of it. I hear others saying, you're making too much money and that's hurting the consumer because those fees get passed on. If you care about the consumer, cap the price. Cut out the bots. Cut out the middle people. And if you really care about the consumer, give the consumer a break. Not every kid can afford whatever it is, $500 to go see Taylor Swift. And I'd like to see Ms. Swift or Mr. Springsteen or some of the other major artists step up and say, you know what? We're going to support non-transferability. And we're going to cap the fees that are added on here. And we're going to make sure that the artist is paid a fair price. Everybody else can make a profit, but you can't make an obscene profit, especially the scalpers. If we do that, now we've done something. Now we've gone beyond how many lawyers can dance on the head of a pin and whether